Oh, can you? Can you hear me now? This is going to be my live for later on today because I won't be able to get on later on today. So here we are. Hope everyone had a good day today. Making the best of all situations, right? I only have about 20% on my phone. But that's okay, right? We'll just go as long as it lets us. I don't know what happens if it turns off. Does anyone know what happens? We're cutting it at the vampire bat, which is prosperity, being able to navigate in the unknown. We've got props. Some kind of production going on. We've got our spectacles in order to see things better. We just go with it, and we have our pros and cons list. So there's a decision perhaps that needs to be made, some facts that need to be addressed, looking at the pros and cons of a situation. What's drama? What's an act? What's real? All of these unknowns to deal with. But we've got the proper tools because we've got our spectacles to use. Someone could be making themselves a spectacle with the drama that they're creating, perhaps. Maybe they're trying to compare two situations, and one's apples, one's oranges. Use caution when you're looking at things, please. Splitting the deck again. We've got the grass is greener and props still there on the front. So maybe someone didn't really take care of their responsibilities and they're trying to blame someone else, causing a spectacle. We've got a robin. A little robin told me. Could be someone's sidekick who's saying this stuff, or they're saying it too. Maybe they have information that they're feeding this person. Could be having something to do with the springtime. The song We've Only Just Begun just came through. Bottom of the deck, we've got the life preserver. Someone is looking for a lifeline. Someone's trying to stay afloat. Someone needs saving. We have the magnifying glass. Really wish I had another light, because there we go. If I put it right there, you'll be able to see it. We've got the magnifying glass split of the deck. Oh, because I don't have those lights on, that's why. We've got the ladder. Maybe someone's trying to look to see how someone made it up the ladder so fast. Maybe someone who is in a position of being on the higher part of the ladder is being looked at. Something is buried. It has now sprouted. And we got the witch's hat. Interesting, interesting. They're taking a closer look how this person probably got promoted. And they're going to unbury the fact that there was witch's hat stuff going on. Got two cards coming out, the props and the comb over. Something was drama filled. Someone had a mask on. They were trying to conceal something. The grass is greener. They weren't taking care of their own grass. They were too concerned about someone else's grass. Maybe too concerned with who was visiting with who. And they had a snake. The visitor was a snake. Remembering old times with this snake, perhaps. It's a cobra, so it's a poisonous snake. And the snake, a cobra, will definitely try to bite you if it feels threatened. Don't back the snake into a corner. The snake has just gotten larger and larger and larger over time, like all things grow. Maybe they're reminiscing about things or visiting the past. And maybe they're thinking that their grass was greener than it really was, since it just says the grass is greener. So are they just putting on a performance for themselves? We've got the gloves. They're fighting back the memories. They need to wait for this dust to settle, to clear, in order to really see clearly. They're not seeing things clearly. The whole fluff and fold, something needs to be cleaned up. They're fighting the need for something to be cleared up. This is also my Gemini card, considering it's a match, but they have two different uses. Maybe they're fighting the everyday. We've got the hamster wheel with the everyday being mentioned, the day in, day out. The childlike games, a hop, skip, and a jump. It was so long ago, but it was just seems like yesterday. Games of strategy, aim, focus. Not only do you have to target the square you want to be in, but then you have to kind of jump there in order to get there. Then you twist on one, and then you have to jump your way back to the beginning before the cycle is complete. Maybe they do this every morning. It's a production, right? We've got a shark here. Sharks circle their prey, right? They don't just go after. They circle and assess for a while, so it could be a stalker of some kind. Salmon swimming upstream. They're certainly making things a lot more difficult for themselves than it really has to be. But they just keep going. We've got the batteries here. Different size batteries for different needs. Maybe they have different resources from different areas to be able to address these different needs. Maybe they're fighting with all of the people that they brought into this whole production because they made it seem like it was such a dramatic story. We've got braids. It could Involve someone with braids. Maybe someone is actually siphoning their energy off of someone who has braids. Integrity for sale. Looks like they sold their integrity. ... An awkward silence during this gameplay. But regardless of what it is, we're going to face all of our fears with love. I'm a little dog, and my fears are a huge, big old dog. But I'm going to love you anyway. Every morning, I'm going to continue to love you. Even through that awkward silence. Remember, we had that vampire bat? Red Rover, Red Rover. I wanted to say send Carl right over. Who's Carl? Is Carl the shark? Is Carl the robin, the friend, the sidekick? Maybe someone's facing their fears with love and they want the other person to face their fears with love too. Maybe they want someone to come over and see things their way. And give up the act. We've got a situational ship. Maybe they were in a situational ship. Maybe they were egging on someone within their situational ship with this drama, with this storyline. Maybe they had them over, Red Rover. They had to stay on their team because they couldn't break through. We have a rescue mission coming on. With that life preserver over there, someone's going to need rescuing. Perhaps they need rescuing out of the situational ship because maybe they didn't take heed to the stories that they were being told prior to them getting into the situation where they were going to need help. Maybe someone's wondering, how come I can't get rescued? How come it's always the other person who always gets rescued? Well, because there's good and bad things that happen. And whoever was treated worse is the one that needs the help. Right? It's usually how it works. But of course, we've got this decision that needs to be made, this weaving of energies, contemplating what is the way out, knowing that someone is going to just have to save themselves. No one's coming to save you. We have a geode. There's so many layers to this. Very unexciting on the outside, but boy, when you break open a geode, it's so pretty. Maybe something doesn't seem like much from the outside, but on the inside, they've got so many layers of what has happened. This is a geode. I don't know if you can see it. Just looks like a regular rock on the outside, but on the inside, it's super pretty. It's blue and crystally. I apologize, it's so dark. We've got the pixie haircut. Maybe someone looks a little intimidating and hard on the outside, but they're actually very quite sweet and childlike on the inside. And they're very kind. Someone's materialistic. Maybe it has to do with trying to secure some material wealth. We have the number 4 here, stability. Also the Earth Angel card and also a Virgo card. Karma is coming back for this materialistic natured person. Maybe this person just liked to have fun, spend money. Karma, laugh now, cry later. That's why they had situational ships, because they were just trying to have a good time on this journey. Maybe this time around it's somebody's karmic journey. They're having to pay the consequence for all their previous decisions. We have a map. Planning accordingly. Detailing all the places they want to go or have been. Having to experience different experiences. There's good and there's bad in every location, right? We've got the brackets here to categorize, to enclose. Someone's trying to enclose someone from probably even going anywhere on their journey. They're trying to blame somebody for their karma that they're getting and saying that it was this earth angel's fault that they're experiencing the karma that they're experiencing. But that's an illusion. Goes back to the whole drama performance. Someone's in the background pulling the strings on stuff. Maybe just making something appear to be that way, but it's not even that way. Maybe it's a snake pulling the strings. Maybe it's the witchcraft pulling the strings. Well, that's just how the cookie crumbles. It is what it is. Somebody made a mess. Cookie ended up being a bit dry. They were luring someone with the cookie. And it was dry. And this little dry lure, or the dry cookie, was the one pulling the strings, making an illusion like they were all great, but it was just spell work and a dry cookie. Seriously, though, that's what you decided? That's what they decided on. A dry cookie doesn't get chewy, right? A crunchy cookie will always be a crunchy cookie, and it will always be making a mess. I'm just going to do the word cards and then call it a night. I got to be up early. We've got time upside down. Someone's running out of time for sure. Got the magic card upside down. The magic's not working. Sorry, not sorry. They're trying to blame someone else, probably saying, I'm doing all this magic and it's not working. And how come it's not working? They're sending me magic. They're sending it back to me. It's their fault. Everything's happening. We've got this lotus. Maybe they can open their mind up long enough to be able to realize that it's their own doing. They've done it themselves. If you don't participate in magic, you can't be affected by magic. Right? If you don't believe in magic and you're protected from magic, then it's not going to affect you. These are all blanks. With that being said, folks, thanks for being here. Make it a great day. There's a good thing in every single day. Let me give the date and time. It is 12:43. And the date is May 22nd, 2026. That being said, remember to be the vampire bat and go through the darkness and know that you will have the connection and the guidance that you need to make it through. Face your fears with love, because you can make better decisions and have better outcomes and attract better ideals when you're in a state of calm and peace and love. With that being said, make it a great day, and thank you so much for being here. Take care.